Hello, thanks for joining. Sorry, I just forgot to record the stream, which I always forget to do. So thanks for joining. My name is Russell. You'll know me if you've seen this channel before, but if you don't, we do board games here. Today, for example, we are playing through the solo mode for a game I actually really like called. Well, I did not plan this. I thought, but the box. There we go. Let's get the box so you can see the game we are talking about. Ignore that ruffling sound. This is Expedition to Newdale. It's designed by... Oh, hello, Tom. Thanks for joining. How are you today? This is Expedition to Newdale. It's designed by one of my favourite designers. His name is Alexander Pfister, and it's published by Lookout Games. So I'm very excited to play this solo version because I've played the multiplayer version of it quite a lot. Let me know if the sound is okay. Is there any buzzing, any echoing? Is it too quiet, too loud? Let me know because I am able to adjust that if you need to. Alright, so let me explain how the game works. So Expedition to Newdale is a sort of kind of action selection worker placement game, but it's also got elements of like route building, engine building. Hello, not yet again. Thanks for joining. How are you today? So basically it's got elements of different things. It's got a bit of push your luck, which is one of my favorite mechanics in the game. And it's also got a bit of engine building, as I said. So essentially the game comes with 8 chapters. There are some chapters which are bridged, so you can do, well, depends which route you go down. And across 8 chapters, you're going to sort of learn a bit more about the world of this game. Oh My Goods is the game that this was essentially based off. You'll notice the cards seem very familiar if you've played Oh My Goods, and it's a very good, simple engine building game that this has expanded upon. So across the world of 8, so across 8 chapters, what's essentially going to happen is you're going to uncover a bit more about the world, and you're going to learn. Going to try and build up a bit of an engine and try and score many victory points, because this is what this is tracking over here. Let's get stuck into how the game plays. Well, first of all, it's a very simple game. It seems a bit complicated because there's lots of aspects, but once you kind of understand the mechanics of it, you should see it's actually quite simple to grasp. There are 6 phases, actually 7 rounds. So the 7 rounds are indicated by these cards, and these are event cards, and each one kind of changes up the gameplay for each round. So there's 7 rounds, and in each round there's 6 phases. The first phase in each game is the event phase. So first thing you'll do is you'll draw the top event card, which I'll do from here. We'll reveal it, see what sort of like changes that it's going to make to the game, gives us a kind of a setup for how this round is going to go. The second phase then you're going to do is called the planning phase. Now these tokens which you have on the left, this is how many actions you have, and so this is basically what you're going to plan to do is you're going to put your token onto any space, either on your own player board, which this is mine, or onto one of these 5 spaces on the left there, these are public actions that you can choose to do. Once you've planned and you've chosen the actions, and I'll get a bit more into that later, then the next thing you'll do is the assistant phase. In this bag, I'm just going to show you on the table here, there are different coloured meeples, okay? The different numbers and colours of each meeple is on this board here, so you can see we've got 6 yellow, 5 green, 4 red, and 3 blue. There's actually one more meeple in there, which is probably blue. Yes, there we go. So you'll draw out the number of assistants according to the game rules. Now, in the normal case, it's 4. So you'll reveal 4 assistants, but sometimes the event card can change that up. And this is basically this, in addition to the assistants that are on the event card, this basically tells you how many assistants you're going to get to work with. And that's important because when it comes to using your buildings, which you start with a coal mine, the only assistants that you can use are the ones that are drawn from this bag as well as on that card. So you really want the right ones to come out, and it might not always be the case. So after the assistants are drawn, then you resolve the actions in order. So if you're playing a multiple player game, each of you would basically take turns starting from the first player, resolve your number 1 action. I'm still pointing towards there. Your number 1 action, resolve, then the second player does, then the third, etc. And then you go on to your second actions each and resolve them in order. And then once everybody's resolved their actions, the next phase, stage 5, is the building phase. You have a hand of cards. Well, you do at the start, you might not do in the game, depending on how badly you do. But ultimately, you are going to build one of your cards, or you have the option to build one of your cards. The cost to build is in money on the top left. You spend that money, you build that card in one of your sort of remaining slots. You'll see each player board has sort of 8 slots, and the top left one is always taken up by your coal mine. So that gives you 7 other slots with which to build a building. If you are building a special building, it goes on the right-hand side there. But any normal coloured building will go in one of these slots. So you have an option to build that. And if you don't want to build in that phase, you can always just draw 2 cards instead. So there's always something to gain from that. Then the 6th and final phase of each round is the special buildings phase. And that's when you come to resolve any buildings on the right-hand side. If they give you something of a benefit here, this is when you sort of gain that benefit. And then the end of the round is just a bit of cleanup. You check if there's anything on the event cards that essentially lets you do something at the end of the round. And then you go and draw the next card, event card, and then you're into round 2. So that's how the game sort of works on a basic level. At the end of the game, the player with the most points, victory points, which is indicated by this sort of shield symbol, and I'll probably try and just go up to the camera there. That shield symbol is what you're looking for when it comes to working out how many points you've got. And so the player with the most points at the end of the winner is the winner. And actually, this track kind of tells you how many points you've got. And that's it. But obviously, there's a little bit more to it, so I'm going to try and go into that now. So the first phase, as I said, is the event phase. So I'm going to reveal the first event at the beginning of the game, but I'll go over it. But ultimately, let's take one from that we're not playing with, just to give you an example. So this one here, not only does it have something for text things, if it's got lightning symbol, that means you do that action straight away, so you resolve that straight away. But along the right here is what you're really looking at, because this is the number and color of assistance that you're able to use in this round. So this one's telling you have 2 yellow, 1 green, 1 red, and 1 blue assistance. Those are available for everybody to use. You using one does not negate somebody else from using them. It's like a pool of people that you can use, and they can be used by multiple players. So that's kind of the main thing you're looking at. As I said, you will draw more later on, but this is kind of what you need to work out. Will I be able to have enough assistance, knowing that I'll draw at least 4 more from the bag with this? Will that help me do what I need to do? So that's kind of the event phase is very simple. Resolve it and then go on. The second phase, as I said, is actions and planning, your turn. So let's go over what each of the actions are. When you want to go on one of these actions, by the way, so the bottom of each of the, this sort of yellow, sorry, my brain stopped working, the coloured spaces along the top and bottom of your playing board, these are spaces you can go along onto each of your buildings to produce goods, which is essentially going to be your currency in the game. So if I was to go onto this space here, you see there's 2 little good symbols there. That means that if I'm successful in doing that action, it will produce 2 goods, which will generate 2 goods to place onto this. Each of these brown wooden cubes represents 1 good. There are some 5 good tokens as well, just to stop you from running out. But ultimately, if I was to succeed in that, I would put 2 goods onto there. The number of goods changes depending on where you place that worker, but the differences between the numbers is also reflected by the number of assistants you need to complete each of these sort of actions. So let's look at the building card. The coal mine here requires 2 yellow and 1 orange assistant, 1 red assistant. So let's look at this example again. If this was visible, we can already see that there are 2 yellow and 1 red assistants available as it is right now. So if I was to choose this action, I could guarantee producing 2 goods by going on here. And you see this little number underneath, that changes the number of assistants you need to complete that. So in actual fact, what I'd need if I was to go here is only 1 yellow and 1 red assistant, or just 2 yellow assistants. So it can help you to achieve sort of production on that building. However, if you want to produce more goods, the number of assistants that you need changes. So this one says +1, but it produces 3 goods. So instead of 2 yellow and red, if you go here, you'd need 3 yellow and 1 red, or 2 yellow and 2 red. So you probably worked it out already, but the color of the assistants that are needed in addition to or less than what it says on the card is up to you. You can say, I would rather, I can try and build this with the yellow one, depending on obviously what's visible here and what you think is likely to be drawn from the bag. As you can see, yellow's the most likely to be drawn from the bag. So that might help you change your mind about what you want to try and get. So you can push your luck a little bit. If you think you can do 4 goods and you think at least 1 red, 1 yellow, or 2 yellow or 2 red will be from here, will be drawn from the bag, you can go, well, let's try and produce 4 goods. And you can see the number of goods, the number of assistants required changes for each of these buildings. So when you've built a building, choosing where to put it is going to be quite key to your strategy. Okay, so the next phase after you've done, oh no, we're still going through the actions. So that kind of tells you all the actions that are on the top and bottom rows of your playboard. They relate to the buildings. The other actions that are available are these here. So let's go over the top left one. You'll notice at the top of the left of the board here, you can see there's actually a 3 and a 4 action token or worker if you want. To get your hands on those, you need to hire them. So one of your actions you can do is on your turn is to go here and you can spend 7 money in the form of goods to unlock your 3rd worker. And once that's done, he comes back with you at the end of the round and you'll basically get to use them from that next round onwards. So if you have unlocked the 3rd one, when you go here, and then you can unlock the 4th one, which costs 13 money, but also gives you 3 victory points as well. So that's what that one does. I should say at this point, by the way, that if you feel like you are allowed to go to an action space that you explicitly cannot actually do, because you may be able to do it depending on what your earlier actions are. So what I mean by that is currently I have 5 goods, and each of these goods is worth 1 money. So I have 5 money right now. But if I was to place my second action, my worker on here, and my first action to produce 2 goods, as you can see, this one will provide me 2 goods, meaning I'll have 7 overall, meaning then when it comes around to doing my second action, I will have the 7 money required and be able to resolve that. And if you ever go to a space and you cannot do it, you just don't do it. So it is potentially risky. If, for example, I thought, oh, let's try it and push my luck and see if I can produce lots more goods, but I don't actually achieve that because the right assistants don't come out, well, unfortunately, you get to miss out on the second action. So you have to kind of plan ahead a little bit. The second action down here is to take 2 cards from the supply. Then you'll get, is that 2 goods? You know, spend 2 cards from your hand, sorry. It's been a while since I played this. But in return, you'll get 4 goods, coal, which you will then just put onto your coal mine here. So that's what that is symbolizing. That's your coal good. And then the second action is just one of any other goods. So you could just make that 5th one an extra coal. But obviously, if you have more valuable goods, so let's say I had this iron here, I could actually make that mystery good an iron, and that would be worth a lot more. So that's kind of another thing that you can do. The third action on this board is to get rid of all of your hand of cards except 1, and then draw an equal number of cards that you discard plus 3. So this means you clear your entire hand except for 1 card, and then replace it but with 3 extra. So if you don't like what you've got in your hand, you can just get rid of it but gain cards in the process. So that's quite a nice way to sort of like manipulate your hands a little bit. The 4th action down here is to spend 4 money in the form of goods, as always, to upgrade one of these actions here. And I'll get to these a little bit later, but these ultimately affect your ability to build buildings or sort of produce goods on buildings, or to gain rewards when you've built a building into this sort of into this board here. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So it simply means upgrading, means taking off one of these tokens and sort of like making them better. Another benefit of this is you get 2 victory points, which is pretty sweet. And the 5th one down here allows you to build. So you have a build phase, as I explained earlier on, but you also have the option to build a second time if one of the actions you choose is this one, because it allows you to build then. And then after you've finished resolving it all, then you get to build again as part of the 5th phase of your turn. So that's all of the actions that you can see. Now, some of the player boards, we're not playing with one of them. Sorry, some of the maps, they come with additional actions which have this symbol on. That means that you could also potentially use those, but there's none in this game, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's the planning phase. So that kind of tells you all the actions that you can choose to do. So the assistant phase, like I said, very simple. All you do is you draw 4 assistants from this bag, you reveal them. I like to put them over here, so I kind of, that's not 4, but if you were to do that, that's bad. Yeah, if you do, I like to put them down here so you can kind of like compare them to the assistants that you know are available, and that's all you do for that phase. Very simple. The 4th phase is the resolving actions, and like I said, you resolve them in order. So I'm playing by myself today, so I'll just resolve them. I don't have to wait for any other players to take turns. I just resolve them in order. So that should be fairly quick and fairly simple. The 5th action is building, and this is good because this is a little bit complicated, and this is where this comes in handy. So when you want to build a building, the cost, you can build 1 building from your hand. So you choose a card from your hand, and you say, right, I'm going to build this building. Okay, if it's a non-black, basically non-special building, you place it in one of the empty slots wherever you want. You don't have to go in order or anything. Then you pay for it by getting rid of goods equal to that amount. So these goods are worth 1 each, so I get rid of 5 of them, and that building's paid for. Now, if you have goods that are worth more than 1, or whatever, let's say the only goods I had was this, so I have 6 total. Now let's say I wanted to build another 5 building. I can sell these to pay for it, and as you can see, I've paid 6 now because each of these is worth 2, but I would not get any change back. So you can overspend, and I would be careful about doing that if you're playing this yourself, because it's not efficient, and efficiency in these kind of games tend to be quite, important. But you can do that because sometimes it is better to build a building that's going to help you rather than sort of save that 1 or 2 goods, money in goods. So there we go. Once you've built a building, by the way, so let's say we've built this, the other benefit of building a building is that you get to place one of these tokens onto the board. Now, this is where this comes in use. When you choose a building, when you've built a building, you place one of your buildings onto the board. Now, the rules are you can build it 1 or 2 spaces away, and spaces are indicated by how many yellow paths away from a previous building it is. So you can see we would all start off normally with a building onto the starting town, which is Longsdale. So this means that my options for building this is either here or here, because these are 1 space away, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, because these are all 2 spaces away. The difference being, if I built somewhere that's only 1 space away, I would get a bonus token, which is these things here, these square things. You are allowed to take a bonus token if you build 1 space away from your previous building, and there is a bonus token available in an adjacent field. So you can see the fields are the sort of spaces with the squares in. The ones that are empty is just because if you play with more players, there are more actual tokens on the board. But when you build a building, you take a bonus tile, you keep it in front of you, and that can be used once per game. So if I have this token, I can just use it, get rid of it, and then that's gone. So these are kind of one-off bonuses that you can get, and I'll go through them later on. If you are to build 2 spaces away, by the way, there's no bonus for that. There's no bonus tile. But if you upgrade this, then the numbers change from 2 spaces away, which means you can still build 1 space away, but 2 spaces away will now give you a bonus, but you can also build 3 spaces away, or 3 footprints away is technically it, without the bonus. So it allows you to build further with the same bonuses, essentially. So after you've built, by the way, the cost of the building can be affected by where you build, because if you were to build a building, and I'm going to use this as an example, let's say I chose to build this building here, okay, which is 2 spaces away, you can see on this card that there is a discount for building on that matching terrain. I don't know if that's coming up on the thing, but yeah, this one says mountains -3. So this would actually only cost me 5 money if I build this on a mountain space. So that could be something to keep in mind where you're choosing to build. There's all of the symbols here, they all have discounts on certain cards, so it's worth keeping an eye out for that. You are allowed to collect all of the tokens. This one has a double token, so this is the only one which is a duplicate of, because I randomly chose them, and that one came out twice. So that one I could collect twice if I built twice around that. And again, you can use as many tokens as you want in a single turn, but you can only use each token once per game. So you can use them whenever you want as long as it's in the game. And then that's essentially that. That's it for building. I just don't think there's anything else that I need to explain about that. I'll get to my secret objective later. So building is that. I think that's it. And And special actions, as I said, is very simple. You just have the actions here. For example, if there's a number 6, phase 6, like kind of text on the card, that means this is when you resolve that action. So that would mean I get an extra card at the end of every turn after I've built it. Now, a couple of other things is production. Now, this game, if you haven't played Oh My Goods before, the production chains are a very key part of that game. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to open a door window. It's very warm in here. It's like so warm right now. It might mean that the noise is slightly increased, in which case I apologize, but it's better for me because I'm so warm right now. Okay, so when it comes to production chains, this is how it works. So you'll notice on a lot of these cards, there are sort of symbols on them, and we're just looking at the bottom one for this right now, okay? This is the number of assistants required to cause a production on that building, and each time the good produced is the one in the center, and the money underneath it is how much each good of that is worth. So you can see some are worth more than others. On the right-hand side of some of these cards are either cards with a little symbol on them or other goods. So let's talk about production chains. When you produce, by the way, onto a building, and I have to check this because this is something that I was a little bit confused at when I first played the game, so I want to make sure that I do this correctly. But when you produce on a building, one of the benefits of it is that you can now chain. So if you are chaining a good, what this means is once you've produced something, so let's use this as an example. This is my hand currently. This coal, when I've produced it, I can use the production chain on the right-hand side of that. And this one says a card with the coal symbol on it. I think it's or, maybe coal or, doesn't matter. If I want now, I could spend cards from my hand to turn those into goods which I place on this card. So if I wanted to, I could discard these 2 cards to produce 2 goods onto this, or discard 1 for 1 good, etc. So that's something that you have the option to do. And sometimes, for example, let's say I had built a building which was with cotton on it. I could have loads of cotton in my hand, and I could go, well, if I built that, well, now I can just chain a load of those as long as I produce at least 1 good onto this card. So that's quite nice. The chains with different goods on it, they work slightly differently. There are some chains with 1 good on it, so let's try and find one of those. Here we go. If I chose the abattoir and I produced at least 1 good on that by building it and then producing onto it, I now have the option to take goods. Let's set this up actually. So let's say that I have produced some cows earlier on, and now I've just successfully chained some goods onto this, produced some goods. Well, the good news is, now that I've produced at least 1 good on this, and I've used my action to do this, I can chain goods from here, which happen to be this good, and I can just move them onto here. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm turning that good into that good, and that's how the production chains work. So basically it allows you to upgrade goods, which is very good. Pun not intended, but I'll take it. So that's how the production chains work, and I'll kind of reiterate them when I actually do them in the game. But ultimately, you're only allowed to do them if you have produced at least 1 good on it, that building, that turn. So that's important. That's done. The other thing is secret objectives. So secret objectives, as you can see, I'll score bonus points for every location on the map here with either of these symbols in it. So you see some of them have banners, so this one has a banner that matches that. So if I have a building there at the end of the game, it's going to score me 2 points. If I have a building on an obelisk space, so for example here, and I think there's one up there as well, I will also score 2 points. So that's another way I can score bonus points, and that will obviously be very important when it comes to whether I achieve the objective goal. So I think we're almost there. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to let me know, but I understand this thing has gone on quite long, so I'm kind of keen to get into the game. So yeah, that's it really. Oh, there's another thing. If you pass any of these kind of lines on the victory point track, which have the 2 card symbols, so there's one here, one here, one here, basically every so often, you immediately get 2 cards. There are some ways that your victory points can be pushed back, but if you go back and cross over it again, you don't have to give any cards back if you cross over the line backwards, but you do get them again if you repeat over the same line. So if I go past here, for example, I get 2 cards. If I'm pushed back there, I don't have to discard anything. And if I go back past it again, I can get 2 cards. So that's something to bear in mind. Okay, so one final thing before we get to the game. What do these tokens mean? I'll go over quickly. This one means that I will allow to get a an extra worker if I use this action at 4 less than the cost. So if I manage to build here, I could actually get a third worker for 3 money instead of 7, or I could get my fourth worker for 9 instead of 13 money. Okay, this one basically means that I can spend it to reduce the amount of assistance, and I can choose any color to sort of remove from the requirements for that. But let's say that I did this, I had this symbol, and I had 3 yellow and 1 red come out total. Well, I'm missing one, but I can spend that token to sort of like waive the requirement. And I should mention, I forgot to say, that when you are choosing to do workers from your hand, the other advantage, which this one basically means that instead of having an assistant, I can mitigate the requirement for 1 assistant by discarding 3 cards from my hand, and I can do that as many times as I can. So if I pushed my luck quite a lot and I was down, say, 3 assistants that I needed to produce, I could just get rid of 9 cards total, and that would be fine. And when you upgrade that discount or discarding of cards is only 2 cards for every missing assistant. So that's how that works. So going over these. So these ones, when you spend this, you can get rid of 2 green cards in your hand to get 6 coal goods onto your coal mine. This one is if you get rid of 2 cards from your hand, in cotton cards from your hand, you will score 1 victory point for every red assistant that is currently visible, like from drawing from the bag and on the card, and you'll gain an extra point as well. So let's say there's 3 red assistants, you'll get 3 points plus 1s, 4 in total. This similar for this one. If you get rid of 3 iron or whatever that girders are, you'll score for the blue assistants. And this one is discarding sort of like this rock thing, which actually I have here. You can get rid of 4 of those to score 1 victory point per green plus 2. So those are kind of like more points thing, and that's just nicely how this worked out for me. So at the beginning of the game, I had to draw 8 cards from my hand, and I chose to keep these 5 and discard 3 because every player starts with 5. So I've chosen to discard this, and I'll just kind of briefly explain that the reason I've done that is because I see sort of a chain here in that this material as well as this material can be changed to create some good iron here, so hopefully that will work out. And they're not exactly expensive, and because of that chain and the fact that I've got yellow requirement over there, I figured maybe building the post office with the yellow worker, meaning that every time it comes to producing, I'll always have an extra yellow worker after it's built, so that's quite nice. And the other ability is to draw another card, but that's just a cheap one. You'll see also buildings are worth victory points as well. If they are built, they are worth that many points at the end of the game. So now we're ready to begin, which is very exciting because that took a long time to explain. How this works is I read out the the text from the beginning of the book. So I'm going to read that now, just to give you a little bit of a setup of the story. Then we're going to go on to the chronicle, which basically sets up the first game, and it gives me my sort of main objective. So here's a bit of story. Previously on Oh My Goods, which reminds me very much of 24, when they go previously on 24. 5 years have passed since the Red Feast, when the king's death was made public. Rob the Builder claimed the throne for himself and was officially crowned king soon after. Sam Mers, let's call him Sam Mertz, because I don't really know how to pronounce that, former mayor of Canyon Brook and the Order of the Hooded Ones have gone underground. There is still brittle peace between the Crown and the North. The latter is only slowly recovering. Rabbit, leader of the rebellion, remains the central figure in the North. Thanks to his skill, Nate Welton, a former assistant of yours, made it to Guildmaster in no time and has since become one of the king's most influential advisors. Chris Chart, Bishop of Longsdale, is still in possession of the old book which he has finally read. He too is convinced the ice giants will return within the next couple of years, which would mark the end of the shattered state. He convinces the king to send an expedition to the new harbour in Canyon Brook, and from there, over the sea to the land of the ice giants, in hopes of averting the threat with diplomacy or even warfare if it comes to that. Nate Welton, the king's hand, will accompany you on your journey. Welcome, my name's Nate Welton. If you recall, we worked together a long time ago. Now I'm the King's Hand, and I've been ordered by His Majesty to accompany you on this expedition. If you know all my goods already, you will recognize many of the game mechanics, but brace yourself for a surprise or two. Okay, so now we're going to reveal the solo scenario, which tells me that rations. So in this game, oh, hi Daryl. This is a very good game. Yes, I love it. It's one of the more recent sort of like games I've played fairly frequently, so I think I'm in good hands. But if you haven't, I'm assuming because you've played it, you know the rules, but do let me know if you want a refresher. I've also changed the thingy on my game, so I can kind of zoom in a little bit, but the quality of it's a little bit dodgy. It's not quite there, so I don't know how I'm gonna, if that's useful to you. And also I can see, because of the way that I've got my camera set up, it's gonna slightly change positions a lot, which is very frustrating. But we're going to have to live with that, unfortunately. But anyway, thank you for joining. Hopefully you'll enjoy me playing through this, and I want to get cracking. So this is the objective. At the game end, if I discard one or more of these goods with a total value of at least 30 coins, then I will... that's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. That's my only goal in this game, is to discard this number of coins of these goods. Now that's going to be quite tricky because I haven't got any of those cards. Silly. I must also have 38 victory points and 2 strength, which will come up in the game. Don't worry, we will get to that later on. So that's kind of my overall goal. If I just put it there, I think that'll be quite useful. Again, it's slipping. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to keep adjusting this camera because it's just too darn... okay, so I think that'll be fine. I just need to adjust it slightly. Sorry, guys. Kind of a bit silly, but maybe I'll just keep moving the table. There we go, that'll do. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and do. And so let's begin the first day by seeing what the top event is. Now, it hasn't told us to do anything. Oh, no, it has. Before we do that, we're going to go to the Chronicle because that might give us some extra stuff. So the main objective for the solo game is, as I said, you must pay 30 coins, but you will not gain any victory points for that. After final scoring, I must have at least 38 victory points and at least 2 fists, which represent strength. And then if I could achieve that, then I'll do that. It says also, you have been summoned by Enoch Bruback, the King's Quartermaster. He says, if we want our expedition to succeed, we need to produce large amounts of daily rations to sustain our troops. We count on your support. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm preparing a load of goods, rations for my soldiers to basically go and collect food so we can go on and deal with these ice giants maybe. Okay, so the first event, let's have a look. Blueprints. So place 6 buildings face up in the display. When building, you can build a card from the display instead of your hand. Now this is good because what this means is I now have like a selection. Now where I'm going to put this is the question. I think I might have to move the board slightly, and I'm just going to put them over here on the left, I think. So yeah, basically I will now reveal 6 buildings. And these ones will just be available to buy, which will help me because, as I said earlier on, my goal is actually to try and build or collect those specific kinds of goods. So that's meat, bread, or corn, and I don't have any of those in my hand right now. And I think I was supposed to draw the cards before I actually begin the game. So I think that was quite unfair, and I have played this before, so I absolutely should have known that. But I do want to just double check that I'm not screwing myself over, because I might change. You never know. It says deal each player a hand cards. You must then choose and discard 3 cards from your hand. Yeah, it doesn't say anything, so I think I'm actually a bit screwed here. Although, yeah, so the last thing I'll do is reveal the final scoring. So yeah, basically I'm going to have to deal with that problem. It doesn't matter, I believe in myself. Okay, so first play, what am I going to try and do? Now, I do want to build some of these buildings. I do think that there's nothing here that, I mean, cows could be quite good. I mean, that would certainly help. I'm not going to get any discount for it, so I might try and build that a bit later on. But I know that there's some other buildings coming up which are going to generate corn at some point in this game, so I'll just try and aim to get those then. So, yeah, so let's carry on for now. Again, just going to move this board to make sure you can see everything. Okay, cool. So, first thing I need to do is plan my actions. Now, I do want to build something. I have 5 money. I can build pretty much these 2 buildings right now. And out of these 2... one of them is probably more useful to me. It's not going to generate much of an engine, but it's going to help me get more cards, and ultimately that's what I really want to do. The other thing I might do actually is to potentially unlock that worker. If I build this not for my first action, but if I was to build this or unlock this, and then for my second action produce some goods, I could potentially then build and unlock this. No, that's silly. Before I get that third worker, I should build so I have that token available. So I can either build first, which I can't do unless I spend my whole action to do it, and I don't really want to because I actually want to generate some goods because I need it. So here's what I'm going to do. First things first, I'm just going to gain some money. Now, based on the number of assistants that are out, I've got 2 yellow and 1 red here, which is basically enough for me to generate at least one. And I think, based on the fact that more than half of the assistants in this bag, where did I put that bag? I think I put it over here. It's just in the way it was. There we go. So basically, based on the fact that I have 4 of these assistants coming out, and I think at least one of them is going to be yellow or red, I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm going to go for 3. I'm not going to be too greedy, because I have been before and it's just screwed me over. So yeah, go for that. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I am not going to build, but I'm going to think about what else I can do. Maybe I think just gaining some more cards, but I don't want to get rid of any of these cards in my hand because these are all quite useful. Maybe I should get rid of them, actually. Maybe I should just get rid of all but this card and see what else I come up with, because ultimately I'll get loads more. I'll get an extra 3 cards, and maybe one of them will be what I need. I can build from there, I guess. That's only 6 money. No, I think I'm just going to do that. No, this is a tricky thing, you know. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to unlock my 3rd worker. I'm not going to get that token for it because I'm going to get it the second time, but I can still use that token to unlock my 4th worker. So that's what I'm going to do. So first thing is the produce on here for 1 extra worker to generate 3 goods. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pay, hopefully, those 7 goods to get my 3rd worker. So let's see what happens. Now we draw the 4 assistants. So this is the real push your luck bit. I need at least 1 red or 1 yellow. So let's draw 2 out first. Well, I'm good. I know I'm good. And what's going to hurt me now is if I draw 2 yellows, 2 reds, or a combination of both, because I could have got an extra good. But you know what? I said I wasn't going to be greedy. I'm happy with that. So that's that phase. The 4th phase is now resolving. Now, I look at this. I needed 1 extra than this says. I have 4 yellow and 2 red. So I definitely smashed that. And so as a result, I'm going to generate 3 goods, which I'll take from here and I'll put onto this. Now, the good news is that my second action required me to have 7 money. Because I wasn't greedy, I made sure I could get it. I'm going to take those 7 goods, okay, and then I'm going to put them over there, spending them to hire my 3rd worker. So these guys will now come back to me, and I'll get to use them from my next turn onwards, and leaving me with only 1 good, but that's fine. We can deal with that. So the 5th phase is building. Now, I can build if I want, or I can take 2 cards, and I absolutely will take... oh my gosh, I just realized I don't have enough money to actually build one of these buildings. So that's actually really bad. How did I not see that? Oh God, I'll blame my sleepy lockdown brain because I have not been very active on board games. That is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I will draw 2 cards instead. That's fine. Maybe I can use my extra worker to do an extra building if I can generate enough stuff. So I've drawn 2 extra cards, and these are cotton cards. So if I had a building that let me do something with cotton, that'd be great. But none of these buildings do. So that sucks. None of these buildings help me. So it doesn't matter. We'll carry on. So that's the end of the round. 6, no, nothing's built there, unfortunately, because I'm a fool. So now that's the end of the round. This is now done. There's nothing to be done here, so we simply go on to the next round. So we're in round 2 already, which is pretty good. I'm just going to basically discard those and reveal the next one. So the second thing, corn farms. So now we add some 200 cards face up in the display. These are the 200 cards, and they are corn farms, as you'll be no doubt be unsurprised to hear. And these basically are a special building which constantly generate 2 corn, which will help me towards my final goal there. So it says place the cards 200 face up in the display. When building, you can build a card from the display instead of your hand. Well, we already knew that because we had this before. And because these are pretty much all the same, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place them just at the top there. They're going to be another building that I can build. Okay, so... oh, thanks for sharing, Alexander Pfister. Very exciting. Hopefully you'll enjoy my playthrough of it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is... Oh, it says Enoch Bruback, which we realized was the King's Quartermaster. Says, I have some cheap corn farms for you. So he's helping us. He's going to say, hey, buddy, you're going to have... can have some extra stuff to build if you want, and I generally should if I want to stand any chance at winning this game. So let's go. The second round begins. Now we have 2 red and 1 yellow, so we actually don't have enough to build on here, but I feel like if I ooh, this is tricky, because I didn't build anything. I'm a fool. I really messed up that first turn. Let's see if I can pull it back. What can I do? I really need to build something, but to build something I need money. I really need I really need this. Now, if this means because I've got 2 red there and 1 yellow, I actually have an excess in red, meaning as long as I draw at least 1 yellow, I'll get 3 money, and that means that I can build a 4 money building. If I was greedy and tried to get this, which I don't know I can do, then I could build a 5 money building, but I don't want to risk that. So I think that the best and most simple thing to do would be to build, or to generate this. I think I can do that. So we're going to try and produce 3 goods on this. The second thing I want to do, I could get this actually, I could do this. So if I discard 2 cards, that would guarantee me 5 goods on there, meaning I can build something on my second turn, and maybe then if I did produce, I could build a 3rd building. And how much is that? 8 money, but I'd have to build that somewhere with a discount. So if I could get more, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and produce more goods. So I know that I'm going to get 5 from there at the cost of 2 cards. I think I can get another lot of 3 goods on there, giving me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in total, meaning I could build 2 potentially. And because then I have the option to kind of spread out a bit, I think what I'll try and do is to build maybe down here. That scores me 2 points for my secret objective, and it gives me a discount as long as I build the corn farm there. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to build another building. So I'm going to hopefully do 2 buildings this round. Okay, so let's see if I can make up for my previous disaster of a game. So the first action is, we draw assistance first. So hopefully all I need really is 1 yellow. 1 yellow is all I need. So let's draw 2 first. Okay, we're good. So I've drawn that 1 yellow, meaning now I have 2 yellow and 2 red, and I only just needed 1 extra yellow, 1 extra red from there, which I have. So just for sake, look at this. This is kind of frustrating when I realize I could have got extra goods, but it is the game. It's the way the game goes. So that's fine. So let's resolve this one first. I have to get rid of 2 cards. Now, which 2 cards do I genuinely don't think I'm going to buy? I mean, lots of these are ones I don't think I'm going to buy. I kind of wanted to keep the smelter. I don't need... Do I need another ore mine? I think I already had one, no? Yeah, I have an ore mine in green, which is good because, well, again, it doesn't matter. I think, which is the easiest one to do? I think that one, 3 yellow and 1 green, because I'm getting a lot of those. So I'm going to discard that as one of the cards. And the other card, I think that one, there's no way I'm going to get that one out either. So those 2 cards, and you can see how expensive it is. So there's 2 cards. I've paid for that. So I take 4 goods plus 1 extra, which can be anything, but obviously I'm just going to do that. So that's the first action resolved. The second action is to produce goods, and I definitely did it because we've got a total of 3 yellow and 3 red, meaning I easily achieved that. So I get an extra 3 goods on there. And then the third action is to build. Now I'm going to build twice this turn. So the first place I'm going to build this one. And the reason why is I think that I have a good chance of being able to get loads of cards during the game by that, and that will help me because cards in this game are quite valuable. You start off with 5, but honestly you run out quite easily. So yeah, this is my next section. So I'm going to build this 4 buildings. So there's 4 goods there. So they go over there. And I've built that now. Now, remember, when I build, I can place something on here. And I think building here is fine. And I will take this one. I think I will. Actually, this one would be good because it means that I can still get... I do want that extra worker, though. It's always a bad idea to not take an extra worker. So I will take that token because I've built 1 space away. And my reward is that. The second... So that's the end of that. I've put the thing. I've got the bonus. I think that's it. And now the next thing that I'll do is resolve the 5th action, the 5th phase, which is to build or to spend 2 money. Now I am going to build, and I'm going to build this one. I'm going to build it here or here. Now if I build here, I get this bonus token, which would be nice, but here's going to get me 2 extra points. which I think is probably good. I can always build back from there. Ooh, it's tricky. It is really tricky. I think that maybe I will build... I really should have that, actually. I'm doing so badly. So I'm going to build here. Now, because I've built this on a matching symbol, this is actually going to give me a discount. So it actually only costs me 5 to build this. So I have 5. So yeah, perfect. So 5 goods, and I am out of goods. So that is basically my turn done. But as a result, at the end of the round, we activate the special buildings. So I'll get to draw 1 card. So let's see what I've got. I think I'll put these over here. I just don't want to forget about them. I want to make sure that you can see my hand. Yeah, so basically there we go. I've drawn a card. That's good because that's one of the things I need to build in the game to win. So that is actually good. And then the other thing I'll do is now I'll generate 1 good on here, which is 2 corn. So I am like, how far away? 1/15 of the way towards my end goal, which is very bad, but we shall see what happens. Okay, so that's the end of the second round. We'll put the assistants back in the bag. We'll drop them in there, mix them up a bit, and then the third round begins, which will start by drawing the next event card. So let's get rid of that. Let's see what the third round has got for us. Okay, so in this round, we're going to be drawing 6 figures from the bag instead of 4. But as you can see, we actually only have 1 of each. So there is quite a lot missing in this. And I'm not sure what I will be doing. Because I definitely need to produce some stuff. 6 seems quite reasonable if I just did that. I have the ability now to push my luck because I could actually mitigate one of the opportunities here. I'm thinking, by the way, of building something of an engine building at this point because I am really struggling. I think this one's pretty good. I could build this one here for 3 and for 5 money. So if I produce, well, actually, if I was to go here as my action, I could generate the same amount of goods at a cost of cards, and I can get rid of everything but this. Although this is so valuable, I probably should keep this because that is one of the things I need in the end of the game. So maybe I keep this one and see if I draw something else. It's so tough. It's very tough, this. Maybe building something first, but I don't know. Maybe building something with the money that I'll get. So I'll have 5 money, which means I could build this. And at least then I can spend these cards to do something useful. Getting lots of money might be good in this. Okay, so let's aim to build this, which at least gives me something else to do. And then get rid of my cards. So we'll see what I could... Yeah, then I could get rid of cards and draw 3 more. So that means I'll hopefully have... I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong. Getting money to build something is super good, but maybe I should get rid of these so I could potentially then produce a lot of money, produce a lot of goods. Oh man, I just realized I could have been spending these cards to generate more goods on there. But actually, if I built this, I could then spend those cards and they'd be worth more. So I think actually building, and then I'm going to try to do something a bit risky. I'm going to go here. That's so risky. I don't know. It's tricky, this one. I think, what does my gut tell me? I think having that would be super useful, but I think I'm in the 3rd round in and I still haven't generated any other buildings. So I think that I'm going to go here. I'm just going to try to generate something here. Now I only need 2 yellow and I have a mitigating element here. So I think building it there is probably fine. Or even here. No. Oh, here maybe? I don't know. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here, try to build that. And then the 3rd thing I can do then is to try and generate some stuff. So let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, let's try this. So first action is going to be to discard 2 cards, which as I said, I'm very down on my luck. So I'm going to get rid of those just to guarantee giving myself enough money to go onto here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So even if I don't produce on it, I can definitely build it. So that's good. So let's see what happens. First things first. I'm going to resolve that. So that's that. 5 goods on there. That's done. Second action is to build. Now I can build. I've made sure of that. I'm going to build here. So I'm going to build here. And this is because I get a discount if I build on a mountain, which I will do, of course. I'm going to build here. Or I could build here to get me sort of further up this bit. But I'm not really thinking much about these. which is going to get me closer to my goal of getting victory points. I need to build there and somewhere over there. So I think going of this direction is pretty fine. So let's do that. So that's actually going to give me a discount of 3, meaning I only have to spend 5 then to do that. Now the third, that's my second action built. The third action, as I said, is going to try and... I didn't do the assistance. Forgot to do the assistance, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to draw 6. So I need to get 2 yellows. 2 yellows is what I'm after. Well, that's 1. So that's good. So that's good. I need 1 more. Okay, that's not good, so I'm a bit worried now. The good news is I do have, by the way, the ability to mitigate one of these, so I could still produce, but I just need one of these 2 to be yellow. I knew it would happen. All of those, but not the one I needed. However, I'm going to spend this. This means that I don't actually need that extra one. Do you get that token as well, as you only built 1 space away? Yes, but because I didn't do the assistance thing first, I figured I would just resolve that afterwards, because technically I don't have that one, but I have this one. So I'm going to use that one, and that's discarded. And now, as a result, I built on here, which was the second thing I did, and now I get this. And now when it comes to this, I would have had 2, actually. No, that's right, I would have had it. So yeah, I'm going to spend that. Yes, so basically, as it is right now, I'm going to spend that, so I do get to use that, which is very frustrating to have to use that, but it's fine. I still produce 2 goods on there, meaning I have 4 money to spend. And now, do I want to spend that money to build something? Do you know what? I could build something because I have this, and I could build up to here, and that will give me something of 3. And as an immediate reward for building this, by the way, it doesn't give me any victory points, but it gives me a bonus of 2 cards. So that's probably what I'm going to do. It does mean overspending, as I said, don't like to do that, but it is something of an option. So yeah, let's do that, because I do need that money. So I'm going to build, and again, I'm going to build up here. Now, the good news for here is that not only does it give me 2 cards to spend, so let's spend that 3 money, but also you'll see here that there's a little symbol here with victory points. If there's a little symbol, usually victory points, I think, might be different in other games, other boards, but that's an immediate... Oh, I do apologise. That's an immediate bonus, and as you can see, 2 victory points pushes me past the line to get me 2 cards, and because of building this, also my reward is 2 cards, so I'll get 4 cards from this, which is very good. And hopefully, well, now this is interesting, because when I built that, I didn't have those cards. When did I do that? That was the 3rd action I did. So I generated that and I built, so I would have had 2 of these cards before 1 of these cards. Did I spend... What did I do with my... I built 1, and I had at least another one, I think. Did I not? Anyway, basically what I'm saying now is I could have potentially added more to that, which, do you know what? I probably would have done it. I just drew 4 cards, right? What did I do with my other ones then? I'm feeling like a fool, but I feel like... Did I genuinely get rid of cards? I think I might have got rid of 2 cards there. I feel like I had more. I'm just going to get rid of that one just to have generated at least 1 more good on there, because I don't think I would have used it. So this is my new hand of 4 cards, which is great, because what I want to do is I want to keep these black cards, not because I'm going to build them, but because I want to then use them to chain up stuff. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay, so that's my turn done. The end of the round, we clean up these assistants. And then we will take all our tokens back, and the next action is to resolve to go to the next round. So we're on round 4 already, which is speeding through. Might even get another game in, actually. So the end of the round, this is reinforcements. We'll take 1 assistant from the labour market. At the end of the round, we're going to take 1 assistant from the labour market. To use the assistant, return it to the labour market on a later turn. When you do, the assistant counts until the end of that round. So basically, I get to take 1 of the assistants from the labour market, which is kind of the revealed meeples, and then I'll get to keep that so I can use it later on. So that'd be quite nice, actually, to have. So we've got 1 yellow, 1 green, 2 red, and 1 blue. So looking at my board here, it's not great, not really helpful, because I really want loads of yellows. If I have loads of cards, obviously it's a different matter. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try, and I am going to try this. Now, if I did this, I would only generate 1 good, but I only needed 1 yellow of the 4 to be revealed, which is probably going to happen. I could chance it and then use this as mitigating just to get 2 points. Actually, I think that's probably useful. Oh, I didn't do the things at the end, by the way. I should have drawn an extra card because of this. Because at the end of the round I didn't do. I'm losing my mind. I'm just forgetting about things. Okay, it's fine. We will catch up. So I forgot to do that as the last phase. So we're back onto the beginning of the round, which is the event phase. We've read out what that is, and now we're into the planning phase. So what I think, if I did this, I could actually spend 3 of these cards to turn it into goods immediately, which is quite nice. I would actually like to build this, because as you can see, this chains 2 of things I produce and chains it into like really good stuff. So I do want to build that. That requires me to get 14 money. So let's say that I've produced this, 2 goods, plus the one there, so that's 6, 8, 10, 12. That means that if I can get at least 2 goods produced on here, I could basically then produce lots of money. I could probably spend that on the worker. So actually, maybe I think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to produce there. I have the ability, so as long as I draw 1 yellow, I can spend this to get it, but hopefully I'll draw 2 yellows. We'll draw that out. I will then be able to spend all 3 of these onto that to get myself more money. But maybe if I figure if I'm not going to spend them all, maybe keeping this, because this on it is cheaper to build. I could just build it there, and then I could actually get myself some more cards maybe. Do I then want to potentially do this, which allows me to keep everything but one thing in my hand and then draw more cards? Or do I want to do something else? I kind of want to do that, because that one I think. What have we got here? So we've got 1 yellow. We've already got the bonus 1. So if I'm going on that, if I could try, yeah, maybe that. I'm just thinking now, doing a bit of a think. I think that what I could do, by the way, let me know if the stream is okay. I haven't been really checking it on the thing, so I just want to make sure that it's all okay. Looks fine to me. If you need me to zoom in on anything, let me know. So if I spend all of those, what I can do, try and generate that, or I could just spend 2 cards to guarantee myself getting 5 goods on that. Oh, actually, that one would be good, because it basically means I can put a good on here, which is worth more. And I really want to try and build something good here. Do I want to spend 4 money to unlock one of these? I'm not really bothered about that right now. I think that the best thing I can do is just to try and generate lots of stuff. Maybe this one, because whatever I have left at that point, I'll get more cards. Actually, if I keep one of these, and just get more cards, that would probably be good. Yeah, okay, we're going to do this. So we've done the planning phase. Yeah, I think this is fine. We've done the planning phase. So the third phase is to draw the assistants. Now what I really want, is 2 yellows. So I'm going to give a good old dig around in here, and let's draw them. Okay, that's not a good start. I need at least 1 yellow to be able to pull this mega move off. So I'm going to draw 1 at a time. That is very, very unfortunate. I really don't know if this is going to be yellow. Oh, thank God. It's a yellow. So literally that couldn't have gone more scary for me. Would have been better if I'd drawn 2 yellows, but I will take it. So let's resolve. So the first action is to produce on here. Now I got 2 yellows and 2 greens, which fortunately isn't enough, but luckily I had that ticket, that token in the bag, just in case. I could have taken this when I built there, by the way. Let's just take this one. I don't really think I'll be using it anyway. So that's the first thing. So we did manage to produce, and as a result we produced 2 goods. So let's put those 2 goods on here. The second thing I'm going to do, and I think I will keep this one, I think I am going to have enough without it, and building that is still very useful to me because... Oh, I built 2 victory... Okay, that's fine. I'm going to keep this. So I'm going to spend these 2 cards because I am now chaining. So this is what I meant about chaining. This one, I can activate the production chain, which means if I spend these cards for my hand, everyone gets me a good. So I'll take 2 more goods for those 2 cards that I spent. I need to remind myself, because there was something of a production chain bonus in the game, and I just realized that I didn't remember what it is. Production via chaining. Maybe it's on a specific... Whenever you produce at least one good via chaining, you get exactly one additional good on the production building after you complete chaining on it. Cool. So actually, luckily I read that. Production chaining bonus. Whenever you produce at least one good via chaining, which I've just done, you get exactly one additional good on the production building after you complete chaining in it. So actually, that worked out very nicely. So I will get a bonus good. So that now is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Will I have enough to build that fancy building? Yes, I will. Okay, so the next thing is to do the second action. So that one's done. So the second action is to get rid of 2 of my cards and... to get rid of 2 of my cards. Now, I just realised that I was going to discard this one, which is kind of my whole plan is built around. So actually, unfortunately, as much as I wanted to keep that card, I actually have to get rid of it. But it's fine. Hopefully another one will come up later. So yeah, they're going to keep this card. So the 2 cards I've discarded, meaning now I can get 4 of the coal, which is over here, plus 1 extra good, which of course I'm going to use over here. So because of that, now the third action which I'll do, which is to basically get rid of all but 1 card in my hand, which is fine. I'll keep that one. And to draw 3 extra cards. Now, if I discarded 2 cards, say I had 3 and I discarded 2, I would actually get to draw 2 plus 3. But because I didn't discard any, I only draw 3. So but these are the 3 cards that I've just got. That's all right. That basically produces 2 coal. Oh, you can't see that on the camera, sorry. So that's quite nice because at the end of every round, you will produce 2 coal, which would be very good for the cards that I'm just about to build. So... that is the end of that action as well now. And as a result, we've got to the end of the round. Well, we haven't got there yet because the 5th phase is to build or draw 2 cards. I am going to build. I'm going to build this one. Now, based on the way the labour market looks, green is probably quite... it's going to be tough either way. But I think that I'm going to build this here because I don't think I need to do anything specific. I can't see like a better way, better place for me to build it. At least producing 1 good on that is actually good. So that's probably the best thing I can do for that. Or maybe, because I'm just going to use this as a chaining building, you can just about see that. If I choose this, it means I only produce 1 good, but a 2 less. So I actually only need 1 green and 2 blue, or 2 green, 1 blue, etc. But it means that I can still use this for chaining as long as I produce at least 1 good in it. So actually, I think that's probably my best option because it's my most valuable one. And I can still more than likely get at least 1 good, which allows me to use the chain on it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build that. It's 14 money. So that money is going to come from here, obviously. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I'm going to take it from here, 13, 14. And the reason is because I want to at least keep at least 1 good on here and 1 good on here. Because if I do get to use that, I'll have more balanced goods on here, which will all come over to there. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. So all of those go. They're discarded. And I have now successfully built this. I'm going to build this onto a bit where I'm going to get something good out of it. I can build it to 2 spaces away, and I could now build on this spot here, which is 1 victory point, but also a bonus point for me as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build it there, and that gives me a victory point as well. Okay, so that is built. I don't get a produce on it. Now we've reached the end of the round. So phase 6 is the special buildings. Here I'm going to draw an extra card, which is the clay pit. Don't really need it, but still fine. The second thing is a corn farm, so I'll take another good and I'll place it on here. And the third thing is nothing. It's just a bonus, which is good for me at the end of the game because of this. So the fourth round. That's the 4th round. One more thing. Take 1 assistant from the labour market to use it. Return it to the labour market on a later turn. When you do it, it counts till the end of that round. Now, the best actually result, because I have a complete choice of which colour I want. Based on the fact that I've got this, but then based on the fact that I think green might be worth... maybe blue might be worth taking. Blue is very unlikely to come out. So I think I'm going to take this. It's a bit risky, but I think that's generally a good idea. So I'll take the blue. So the blue's going to come live with me over here. And that's it. So we clean those up. Ooh, mind my itchy nose. We'll clean those up. The card goes away. And now we're on to round 5. 5 of 7. So let's see what we've got here. Holiday. So I can either choose to immediately get 3 cards or 2 victory points. Now, the good news is we are definitely going to produce on here because I have enough 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can do that. So what this means, do I want to take the 2 points, which get me here? And if I build on one more building, one more space with 2 victory points, I could get 2 cards. Or I could get 3 cards. I think based on my current situation, getting cards is probably better for me. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to choose to use my holiday to gain more cards. Okay, well that's worked out all right because I actually do think building that one there is good. I am really going to struggle, by the way. I should really try to build these buildings because this is what I need for my goal, is this meat here. I need a lot of it. I've got 6 money worth of that, so I need 24, which means 6 meat. 6 meat. So that's going to be my all-out goal now, is just to try and build these 2 buildings. Okay, so first things first. What do I want to do? Now, I've got not a lot of money. However, if I was to choose to do this now, I would actually get 4 coal and an iron. Actually, that would probably be better if I put it there, because then I could produce on here, and then third action could be to spend some of that money. So what I'm thinking is, if I generate 4 coal here, or even here, like if I was to try and get this, now I've got 2 yellow and 1 green, so chances are I'm going to get like at least 1 yellow. So if I go here and then I go here, basically I can generate coal, right? Put lots of coal in there. I could get 2 more of this on here, and then that would mean I'll have 4 of those at 6 coal, and I can turn 4 of them, of each of them, if I successfully onto here. So that would turn into 8 on here, including the one that I'm going to get anyway, meaning, hello, Fathoms, thank you so much for joining. I need to message you, actually. Please remind me to message you later. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. If you haven't played this game before, it's called Expedition. I've even got the boxes here. Expedition to Newdale. It's a great little game. It's basically a engine builder with a bit of push your luck, bit of like route sort of building, action selection, worker placement. It's a bit of an all-around thing, but it's a collection of mechanics that work very nicely. So hopefully you'll kind of grasp it as I'm kind of muddling my way along. And I'm obviously playing the solo version of the game. So yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do now is so basically turning that into that, I have loads of money. I could then build this building, I could build this next turn, and I could just try my absolute best to just churn out stuff. And actually, I've just realized I could then spend these cards, or at least one of these cards, to create an extra good, meaning I'll have an extra 2 of those. So I'll be like loads of money. Yes, the cover art is beautiful. It's very simple, but I think the color of it works nicely. In fact, if I do this, is probably better. This is a beautiful looking box, you're right. It's nice, even that is quite nice. The side of the box, it stands out on the shelf. Yeah. So yeah, that's very good pointing out that, actually. Okay, so I think this is going to be a very nice turn for me, but I don't know if this is going to be enough for me to win the game, but I'll try. Okay, so I've planned my actions. So now what I want to do is I think I just need 1 yellow. And I think then we'll be good. So let's try and draw this yellow. Okay, well there we go, there's the yellow. Frustratingly, I could have actually generated probably 2 extra there, because I have 3 and 2. No, I would have needed at least 1 more yellow and green. Of course it works out like that. Okay, well the good news is I don't actually have to give up this blue guy, because he will generally be fine, I can keep him. Or her. So let's do this. So first thing first, I'm going to do my first action, which is to spend 2 cards. Obviously you want to keep these to use as chained goods. So I'll get rid of the bakery. No, I'll get rid of the sawmill, and I'm going to get rid of the clay pit. So those 2 cards are gone. bash. And the next thing I'm going to do then is get my rewards, which is going to be 4 coal. So there we go. So there's 4 coal there. And then 1 extra mystery good, which of course I'm going to put onto my ore mine. So there we go. So we've got some ore there now, and that is resolved. The second action I'm going to do is going to take this. Now I smashed that. I got the requirements, which gives me 2 goods. So let's take those 2 goods and place them on here. And then the second part of that is now I can chain. So looking at my hand, I decide whether I want to keep this card, which is risky because I do need 2 of these, and I'm not guaranteed to get another one in there, which is frustrating. So I think, right, I'm going to get 1 of these extra, so that'll be 5. 5 of those. Will I get anything else? Is that right? I really probably should keep this, but I don't think I'm going to win anyway, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to trust in my luck. I've like literally thrown 1 of these away already, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, I feel like it's going to give me so much money. Do you know what? I feel actually I might just not do it, because I think that's stupid, isn't it? I'm going to chain 1 of those. So that's gone. So I am going to spend that. Oh, that's fine, because I get a production bonus if I use the chaining element of it. So actually, this is good. So I get 2 of those, which is actually pretty good. Third and finally, is this action, which is this one, and I did it. So I got 4 green, 1 blue, but because I reduced the elements I needed by 1, I'll do this. So I get 1 good on there. And here's the beautiful thing. Now, when you do production chaining, this is not intuitive, but when you're using a production chain using 2 different types of goods, instead of taking those 2 and turning it into 1, you're actually going to turn them into 2. So here's what I'll do. I'll take a pair of each of these, and I'll keep going, and I'll keep going, and I'll keep going, and I'll keep going. And basically, I'm going to turn all of this into the same number of goods on here. And bearing in mind they're worth 4 money each, I'm going to cash in. So let's just make this easy for us. Let's take 5 there, and yeah, let's just take 5, turn it into a token, just so it's easier for us to see. And basically now, I suddenly have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 goods on this, and that's times by 4. So 13, 26, 39, 52 money. I have 52 money's worth of goods on here. So I'm pretty sure I'm good for building my next building. So, as a result, that's the end of that action. Oh, and I get a production bonus as well because I've used the chain. So I get exactly 1 extra good. So actually 14. So I'm on 55 now. No, that's not right, is it? 55? No, it is, I think. No. Yeah, no. 4. Wait. Bear with me a second. 56. 56 is what I meant. So actually I'm going to turn another 5 of these goods into a token. Just to make it easier for me to see what I got. So let's have a look. I got 14 times 4, so that's 56. Yeah, 56 money, and that is nothing to be sniffed at. Okay, so let's resolve the end of the phase. So I can build now, and of course I'm going to build. I'm going to build though. I think I'm going to build this one because this one is what I need. This could be achievable after all, you know. Let's do this. Here. I don't think I need... That's quite a lot of people. For minus... I think I'm fine with that. I think I'm fine with putting it there. The avatar is going to be right next to the ore mine. Because I know it doesn't make sense, but whatever. So the avatar is now built. I built another thing. And what I'm going to do, because I don't need those tokens per se, what I will do is I'll build over here, which is going to give me 1 victory point. And basically... it's not discounted. I have to spend 19 money, so essentially 5 times 4 is 20. So yes, it sucks that I will lose out on that 1 money, but I'm pretty loaded right now, so that's fine. So I've spent the money to build that. That's gone over there, and yes, I'll give me an extra 2 points at the end of the game. Okay, so now we do the special buildings phase. So I get to draw a card. So let's see what I'm going to draw. I've got the spinning mill. Okay. Then I'm going to generate another 2 on here. So we can work out now that I've got 2 rounds left, which means I'm going to have 2 extra goods on here. So I'll have 12. So that means 18 money worth of other stuff. So I need 5 goods on here to be able to make this work. Now the good news is I have this. So if I can get that and chain it, I could potentially easily gain some, and that's actually easier to achieve. So if I build that, there's a good chance I could just build another corn farm at the end of my next round, which would mean I'd have like an extra 4, and that would take it down to 14. So I'd need 4 on there. No, 5 on there instead. No, 4 on there. Yeah, so basically there's options. I have ability. I have a potential now. Okay, so let's carry on. Oh, it's slightly moved again. Sorry, guys. Just tilt it up a little bit. There we go. A little bit wobbly because I'm using a nice unsteady stand there, but hopefully that's enough. Okay, so yeah, essentially now I can potentially make this work. So let's go to... Oh, hi, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. I enjoyed your Solar Storm video earlier on, and you did very well to win it. So thanks for... No, that's totally fine. You can... take your time when it comes to filming. I would appreciate, though, if you could let me know if the quality and stuff is okay, because I haven't been able to kind of do sort of my usual testing. Oh my gosh, have some food, man. You can just leave this on in the background if you want. I literally would be fine. You go and help yourself to some food. Okay, so I built there. Did I get the extra point? I don't know if I did I got 1 extra point. So I got 2 earlier on, then I got 1. Then I got 2 extra. No, wait, did I? I feel like I missed something. What's happened here? Nothing. So it's 3. 1, 2, 3. I've definitely done something right here, I think. Oh, wait, up here. What's up here? 1 and 4. Yeah, so I have 4 more than when I started, which is actually fine. I'm perfect. I'm good. The quality of my beard is nice. Thank you. I have not been... I literally just trimmed because I was a full-on hand, but I'm the kind of person that can't grow like really thick facial hair, so it always looks really, really scraggly on me, and I wish I could grow a full-on beard, but unfortunately I can't. Just don't have that luxury. But I wish I could. It would be pretty sweet, especially my partner, like proper thick like beard. Even though I keep telling him he needs to trim it. So yeah. Okay, so built that. End of the round, I generated, I drew a card, that's it. So now we put the assistants back in the bag, and now we are going to do the 6th round. So let's see what we've got here. We've got blueprints. So we place 4 buildings face up in the display. So we're going to have 4 more buildings, which is quite interesting. So let's see what happens there. We're going to have a lot of buildings in here. So we've got the clay pit, the post office, the Cooper's workshop, and another Cooper's workshop. Well, there's quite a lot of buildings now, so actually it's kind of getting a bit overkill, but it's fine. I wonder if you can still see them all. Yeah, sort of. You can't see the ones on the right, but generally you're not missing out on anything, so don't worry. It would have been nice to have one of these sort of like extra assistants earlier on in the game, but I really didn't think it ever came to the point where I could do it, so it's not been that useful. Okay, so the 4th round begins. Now I've got lots of money. If I can generate at least 1, I could get this over here, and that could get me 2 extra cards. The annoying thing is that I'm going to be 4 money away from it, so it's going to cost me 9, but I have to spend 3 of these, so I'm going to overspend by 3 if I do that. But what I could do, which I really want to do, is to... I want to build. I could get that. I could get points. 1, 2... Nah, it's this tricky one. So what I need to do now is figure out what the best option for me to get load. I've got money. Money is fine. If I generate some stuff, I want to build this. I want to build my cattle farm because that will help me to build this, and that's going to be super cheap if I build it onto one of these buildings, for example. It'll cost me basically like $2. So if I can build that, I can build it at the end of the round, but I want to generally produce on it as well. If I build, I need to basically give myself a bit of options in terms of money. So what I'm thinking about doing is to generate some goods, like on one of these. Just gives me a bit of change. I don't have to spend so much money. Let's generate on here. Yes, which is nice because I have luckily managed to get a really nice production going onto the coal and ore mine. However, what I'm trying to do is set up to build this, because that might be enough for me to get over. I just stupidly had a really bad first round. put me at a little bit of a disadvantage. And what that meant is I had no real plan for getting any of these goods apart from the corn farms. So the corn farm, as you can see, has been generating for a good 4 rounds now, which is nice. But it obviously needs to be topped up with something, and luckily I've got the abattoir in, so if I build a cattle farm and I get to at least produce some stuff on that, which is obviously a little bit easier, then hopefully that'll be enough to get me over the edge and get me to the points that I need. I haven't really even been keeping an eye on the points of these because I'm so far behind, but it's just gonna carry on and see what happens. Okay, so I do want to build this. I want to build a cattle farm. That's my goal. What I need to do is also remember about the production bonus, chaining bonus, because that is something I always forget when I play this game. Okay, so first thing, yes, if I go here, if I produce at least something, which actually I could even... I'm not going to risk it. I know it's... I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to get the 2 goods. That'll be enough for me, and maybe I can get some more cards. So if I produce that, then I can spend my second money to go here to unlock this. I think I want to do that because then I can spend 10 money on that, unlock my extra thing, and that'll get me 3 points, which is an extra two cards. And then the third thing I want to do is to, I guess, this. I mean, as long as I draw at least 1 green, which again I can't guarantee, I produce on here. And then that's 2 goods, and then that's like not really... unless I want to ignore that and then try to sort of like kind of use the engine building aspect, because when I build here, if I get lots of yellow cards, for example, if I built... Actually, what I'll do instead... Here's what I'll do instead, because this is going to cost me 3 money. I'm going to build. So I'm going to build this, which gives me cards. If I do this the other way around, maybe... I could build this first, because this is going to cost me basically 4 money if I build it on the right space, 4 points, sorry. And what that'll help me is that'll get me cards, and if I get the right cards, like black cards, I can actually use them on here to chain, which will probably be much better. So if I build this before that, so as I do that first to build this, then I what was that? No, that doesn't work, does it? That does not work. Oh yeah, no, because I'll get the cards from it. I'll get the cards from this and that if I build it. Yeah, that'll work. So then I'll have lots more cards. Then I can chain. Then I can chain on here. And then the third... Have you ever considered designing your own game before? Yes, actually. Funny you should say that. This isn't the... I actually had a professionally done this game that I made, but I have a print and play edition of a game that I made and actually did a Kickstarter before, which is just a print and play edition, so you'll have to forgive me. It's called A Rather Difficult Choice. It's basically a gamified version of Would You Rather, where you're trying to basically split the room as much as you can, and these sort of like purple cards are for like when you've made a decision. I like to think of it as more of a discussion mechanic game, less of a game and more of a discussion mechanic, because I really like the idea of coming up with all these kind of crazy different choices. Anyway, I won't get too into that. Maybe I'll kind of elaborate a bit more about that on the end of the game. But yes, I have, and that's not the only one I've done either. I've also designed some other games. One of them I'm really excited about, but I haven't sort of fully developed it yet. And it's just something I do as a hobby. I don't think I'm necessarily great at it. I just enjoy doing it. But yes, thank you for that question. Okay, so let's carry on with this. Now, the third thing I was going to do, I think, because then I'll have enough, flexibility to pay for it, and then I'm going to unlock the 4th worker. So hopefully that'll be enough to get me pushing it over the edge to get the points at the end of the game. So I think that's good. So let's see what I got. Now, what I'm looking for here is to have at least 1 yellow. I'm already over by 1. I have enough cards that I could spend. No, let's not do that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and hope for 1 yellow and see what happens. 1 yellow is what I need. Well, there's 2 green, which is annoying because that would have been absolutely perfect if I had gone up for the +2 one. I might have to spend 1 anyway. Well, there's a yellow. That's good. That's good. I feel fine. All right. And a red. There we go. So that's the end of that. So yeah, let's put that back down there. And that's awesome. I remember getting a game called $1 Million Bet, which is similar. as a would you rather, but explores what you do for $1 million. The only issue I've heard about this game is actually by the guys at Rooster Teeth or something. Like, they're a video games company, and they have like this channel, and they play that on their channel, I believe. But the problem with that is just like an arbitrary amount. Like, it's not really just exploring the option, because you could just say, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do the thing. It doesn't really... I guess it does reveal a little bit about you playing the game, like what you would do for $1 million, but it just seems like an arbitrary amount. Like I think the idea when you bring in like $1 million, it's you need to like push the boundaries. It's kind of like, the problem with that, it doesn't feel like a game as much as this. Again, it's just like something you do, something you say, like, can you do this, but that. And I didn't really feel like it was as fun as of a game. But with mine, which I'll get into at the end of the stream, is more of a like challenging you to create a really balanced offering, and that's part of the gameplay. Is like you are creating these like two options that you want to be as hard to choose between as possible, and then it's ultimately a case of what would you rather. So it's really more of a thinking like, would I rather this or would I rather that, rather than would I do it for £1 million or would I not do it for £1 million. It just feels like different. Me, I'm biased though. I made my game, and obviously like I'm gonna prefer my idea more. But yeah, I don't want to get too into that because I'm playing Expedition to Newdale. But yes, thank you. That's a good question. Okay. So yes, we've revealed that. So the first thing that happens is I build. Well, I'm going to build the small watchtower. So I'm going to build this. I need to build it onto a place with the tower. So there's no towers over there. There is a tower over here. Let's just build it over here for the point. So going to get 1 point, and I'll get the token as well. So it's going to cost me like 3 money, but obviously I'm going to spend 4. So that gets me that. Maybe I'll use that later on. I could actually potentially use it right now. Actually, I can use it whenever I want. So that's good, because I have them right now. I'll just try and keep those cards, because that could turn into 6 coal, and that would be pretty sweet. So that's done. I've built the card. So that's the first action done. And I get 2 cards from it. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. Look at these, more green cards, man. So good. I need them. The next thing I'm going to do is this action, which, as you can see, I managed to do. So it produces 2 goods. So 2 goods on there. Now, at this point, I could spend the black card. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Oh, hang on. Wasn't there something I was going to do? No, I did this the wrong way around. Sorry, I'm going to just retcon this a little bit. Apologies. I am going to retcon this, because what I wanted to do is to do that first, because I was hoping to draw more cards, which this would do. And actually, I had 1 point from that, didn't I? 1 point from building there. I'm going to retcon that. I do apologise. Hopefully you'll still think it's fair. But I wanted to see if I drew any black cards. Most cards I got before I went to this. So I am going to do this one now. No, that's not true, is it? No, I am going to take that back. The reason why is not because of that. It's actually because I wanted to have the spare change. That was my thought. It wasn't. I did the right thing. So yeah, basically now I'm going to use this. So it allows me to unlock a worker for less than the cost. So this is actually going to cost me 9. So it's 4, 8, 9, 10. So it's a little bit over, but it's fine. So then I unlock the 4th worker for the final round, which would be nice. And as an extra bonus, I get 3 victory points and 2 extra cards. Ah, there are those black cards, damn it. Never mind, it's fine. I can still use them next turn anyway. And look at that, the fortress. Now, that is a lot of money, 36 to build that, which I guess 20, 24. I couldn't build that now anyway, but it was worth it just because I knew that I wanted to guarantee that I had the two, what do you call it, the 2 fists, the strength that I needed for the end objective. So that's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, so the third, so I've done that. I produced 2 goods on it, but I spent 1 of them. That's fine. I didn't chain anything. And the third action was to do that, which I've done. And so that's the end of the round. Now, the 5th phase is to build. I am going to build, actually. I'm going to overspend again, which does suck, but it's worth it. I'm going to build the cattle farm because I really need to generate some stuff. Now, I'm going to do that. I'm going to build it there. So it costs me... Oh, actually, I can build it for cheap if I build it on one of these green spaces. So if I build it... if I build it here, for example, it's going to cost me cheaper, and I get a victory point. So yeah, 1 victory point actually only costs me 2, which I can spend that, which I will, and so then I have fully built that, and we are good. So, that's okay. That's okay. So I built that. I built it. Done. Good. Okay. So the end of the round. Well, not quite yet. We go to the special phase, which is this. So I draw a card. Hopefully it's a yellow actually. Okay, it's a green. That's fine. So we've got these cards now. Then we're going to generate another corn on the corn farm, and those don't do anything. So that's the end of that round. Okay. So, sorry, just my friends messaged me saying about watching the stream. So thanks for tuning in. Okay, so that's the end of the round. So we'll take those. And we'll put this back in the bag. Then, yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Then we will go back to the last round of the game. Okay, so this time we're going to draw 6 figures from the bag instead of 4. We've got 1 of each colour, but I am going to add this into the market now. So I'm going to do that because that's the only time I can use it. At the end of the round, you can use all of my production chains without chaining bonus. So basically, I can just do all of the chains, which is very good. Because basically, I can turn black cards into these things. I can turn yellow cards into this, and then I can turn those things into these things, which is good. Bear with me a second. I'm going to have to just answer the door. That's embarrassing. Be right back. I think that my housemates ordered some food, so I think that's what it was. Okay, cool. Thanks for bearing with me. All right, so I've let them in, by the way, just so you know. Okay, so the final round. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and generate as much stuff as I can. I don't need to worry about producing too much goods here, because ultimately what my goal is to just try and get some. I'm going to get to use all of the chaining bonuses. So as long as I can get like let's say, how much do I need? Because I'm going to get another corn here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I need 18 of these. That's 5. So I need 5 of those. So I might try and produce goods on that anyway. That might be doable. I could get rid of cards to make this up, but I might try and produce stuff anyway. If I produce 2 goods on there, then I can chain this one, and that will be a production bonus. So that'll be 4 goods, but I could risk it, and I could do this. This would mean having at least like 6 assistants of green and blue, and I only have 3 at the moment. It's risky, but I could make up for any missing ones with cards, for example. So yeah, I think that my first port of call. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do this right now. I'm going to spend my 2 green cards that I don't plan on using anyway. Let's have a look. Cattle farm. I mean, I don't think I will build any of these, to be honest, but just to be safe, we'll get rid of ones we already have. So I'm going to spend those 2 green cards to get 6 coal. So that's good. So I don't have to worry about that because that's already done. Then what I'll need to do is this one, I could spend white ones to turn into victory points. That could be good, but it depends on how many red ones I draw. The next thing I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do now that I've guaranteed that, is I'm going to get rid of cards. I could do this. No, I don't think I need to do that anymore. I think I'm going to get rid of cards just to try and basically get as many like green and get rid of any non-green and black cards in my hand. I just need basically lots of yellows and lots of black cards. So I might keep... I think it's more important for me to get the cows. So I think I'll keep that one. Unless what I did is to use the chaining bonus on here. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to be safe, keep it safe. I'm going to go for this one because I think that I can draw at least 1 yellow, 2 yellows out of 6. That's a bit risky maybe. If I did this one, it would only produce 1 good, and then I could bump that up to 4, which is probably fine actually. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go this. I'm going to produce cheaply on here, less efficiently technically, to get 1 good on there, and then I'll bump it up by 3 by getting rid of these 2 plus the chaining bonus. So I'll have 4 goods on there. The next thing I'm going to do then is, with the cards that are remaining, I'm going to cycle them, keep the yellow one, and then basically try and turn those 2 green ones into something else that I can use. Hopefully more yellows actually. And then the third thing I'm going to do is to get some more points. Well, I could upgrade that, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. The third thing I want to do is maybe just to try and produce some stuff. Well, I've got 2 blues and 2 greens. It seems very unlikely that I'll draw at least 1 green in this game. So maybe I'll just try and chain that and then use whatever cards that I've got to get that. I could also build a corn farm as an action, and that would then let me, because I'm going to get to use all of these, that's the thing. I think that's enough for there. This is quite interesting. This is a very interesting like puzzle to solve. And then the fourth thing I can do is to try and build something. I think building something maybe, because then if I don't generate enough on there and I generate a corn farm, that'll be 2 more. So I'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then I need 4 beef. 4 beef to basically make up for that. And then that would mean that would be enough. Yeah, so I think I don't even have to worry about that. So I am going to build a corn farm, and then the last thing, whatever money I've got, maybe I'll just try and turn into points. I don't know. Maybe I could build this fortress, and that would be pretty sweet. But even if not, I could build something, and that would be worth points. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to try and see how this works out. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I've planned my actions. Now we're going to draw the assistants from the bag. Now that one there is from previous round, so that one is allowed to be there, but we're going to draw 6 additional assistants. So let's have a look. Blue, that's good, I think. Yellow is good. Yellow is one I needed. So we're going to draw 4 more. I've got a yellow and a red. What do I need? Probably need 1 green. Oh, there's a green. It's like I knew. That's great. And then finally, another green. Okay, so that's all right. Again, just to reiterate, there's 7 there because actually I drew 1 on the previous turn. Okay, so let's play this out and see if we did this right. So the first thing I'm going to do, did we receive that? Yes, we did. In fact, I could have even been greedier, but being greedy is what cost me points in previous games, so I didn't do that. So there we go. So I've generated 1 good now. Because I've generated, now I have a chance to cycle cards, chain up cards, which I will do. So I'm going to get rid of both of these. I'm just thinking, probably very bad idea to get rid of that, but I think, let me think. No, I'm going to keep the yellow because I want to make sure I get enough stuff over there. So I'm going to cycle those 2 cards, so chain them, which turns into 2, plus the chaining bonus, so that's 3 in total, and they'll go on there. That is now resolved, so first action's done. The second action I've done is to cycle my cards. Now I'm going to get rid of everything but 1, so I get rid of 2 cards, and I replace those 2 plus an extra 3, so I'm going to draw 5 cards. What I really want here, what I'm really looking for is yellows. I want to see yellow cards. Well, that's good, and I got black cards, so that's actually even better. So there we go. That almost couldn't have gone better for me. I'm very happy about that. And the extra card I can spend just to gain points, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So there we go. That's that. The third, so that's the second action done. The third action is to chain this. Now, I definitely achieved that. So I had the 2 green and 2 blue. In fact, I could have gone even higher, but again, didn't want to be greedy. So the third thing produces 2 goods because that's where I placed it. Now, as the chaining bonus here, I can spend yellow cards, which I absolutely will, to spend all 3 of these. Well, that one is actually good for points. I think I have enough to just do 2 on this one. I don't even think I need that, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to get rid of those 2 cards, which generates 2 goods, plus the chaining bonus, which is 3 in total. So there we go, it has 5 on there. And then finally, I'm going to build, and as I said, I don't need to do this right now, because I have the option to build from here, and I was going to build the corn farm, but as I know that these are going to turn into those, and that's going to be more than enough, it could be a point to try and save building, what was I going to say? Save building the corn farm, which I don't need anymore, to basically to build something else instead, which is going to cost me money, but that's fine because I do have a decent amount of money and I want the points instead. So let's do this. It's going to be cheap if I build it on the blue space, which the blue space that I can see, which is worth points for me. Well, there's not many, to be honest, and I only have 2 buildings left. If I was to build it here, it would give me 1 point and it give me a discount. So yeah, let's just build there. And it gives me this token. Not that I plan on using that, but it could be points for me. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to build that. Because I built it on a blue space, that's actually going to be worth a discount of 3, so it's going to cost me 12 money, 3 of those. So I'll turn this 5, I'll get 2 in change, and that gives me the opportunity to build that, and it doesn't matter where I build that now. The flour mill is going there. Okay, so the next thing is, if I'm just going to make sure I cycle this through, that was a bonus point, wasn't it? That was a bonus point because I built it, where did I build it? There? I think I built it there, so that's a bonus point. Don't forget that. Okay. So that's the end of the round. I mean, that's the end of my actions. Then I have the chance to build again, and I think I will build because for points reasons. So let's have a look what's available over here. The most points that I can get is 2, which sucks. Unless I chose to build this for 4, and I don't think I need to spend that. So maybe I will just build this for 13 money, which is 4, 8, 12, and 1 over here, so 13 money. I'm going to build this, and again, this is going to give me an extra point. If I was to build down here, oh, actually, if I built there and then I built there, I wouldn't get that token, which is fine. Let's put that back, and I build there, and that just gives me 2 extra points. But is it worth it? Yeah, I think it is, because that's going to give me an extra 2 points because of my secret objective. Again, retconning a little bit, but if you play solo games, I think you're allowed a little bit of leeway on that retconning element of the game, as long as you're being fair. I didn't receive any extra information from that, so that's fine. Okay, so now do I want to use this? Well, I can't anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so I've resolved that. Now what I get to do is I get to chain all of my productions again at the end. Oh, technically I get to do this, so let's draw a card. Okay, that would have been pretty sweet actually if I'd have chosen to build that card, because it's worth 6 points. Not to worry. Okay, so now I get another corn, so I'll put that on there, and then 2 things. So the final round, which says here, use all of my production chains without the chaining bonus. That's the extra one. So I definitely will use this. I'm going to use, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to use both of these cards on the ore mine, because it'll be worth, actually it does matter because it's worth technically more points. So I'm going to use those 2 cards on here. I'm going to use I can't do this. I can't do this either, but I can do one of these. It doesn't matter, they're the same thing. In fact, I'm not sure you're allowed to build 2 of the same building. Let me check. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that. If I am not allowed to do that, then I made a slight mistake. Let me just check for building. So, building card. I don't know here if it says that you can't build. I'm not sure if Paul, if you're still watching and you know whether you are allowed to build the same building, that would be very helpful. But I don't think it has a specification on here. So I can't see anything here. So I'm going to assume I can. I'm assuming I can build the same building, which is great because that'll be 4 points for me. So what I will do now is I will chain these. So 5 from here and 5 from here because of those buildings. So it means 10 on here. Brilliant. And then I'm going to chain this. So I take any goods from here, because they match and they become the new goods. So that's the end of that. So now we do the game end final scoring. Okay, so let's have a look at this card because this is what it's all about. So the cards that I'm going to get. Now, this in a solo game, I need to check. I don't think it counts in a solo game, but I will check anyway. So final scoring, I don't know if I have this. Do I get 4 points? It doesn't really say. So does it count or not? Victory points among all players with at least 1. So I'm going to assume I get 4 points. It doesn't say it specifically in here about solo. So yeah, I will assume that I count 4 points. So that's 4 points for that. Then the main objective, which is this one, we're going to now discard 30 coins worth of these goods. Now, luckily, so I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. So we'll get rid of all of those. In fact, I could even just save one there. So there we go. So I've basically got rid of 30 coins worth of those, meaning that I have successfully done that part of the achievement. I did also manage to do the 2 fists, so that's good. So I'm on 4 points at the moment, plus this. So let's add them up now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm on 19, meaning as long as I've got 19 money's worth of points on buildings and goods, and my secret objective, I'm going to win this scenario. So let's see. First thing we'll do is we're going to turn 5 money, going to add up all of my goods, and every 5 money is going to be worth 1 point. So I have 2 plus 6, 10, 14, 18, 22, 22 plus 20 is 42. So 42 money divided by 5 is 8 and change. So I get 8 points for that. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's looking good, guys. It's looking good. That's all I'm going to say. So then we add up the points on the buildings, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15. So I go from 27 to 42. And then, as well as that, I also get points for my secret objective, which I did quite well on. I got 3 of the banners, I think. No, I didn't build here. I foolishly forgot to build there. But I think I still got 2 of them. So I got this one over here, and I got this one over here. So that's 4 points. Plus, I got 1 obelisk space. So that's 6 points in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I ended up with a grand total of 48 points. And as you can see, thankfully, I managed to win and achieve the objective. So that is it. That is the game. So yeah, that's Oh My Goods. Not Oh My Goods. That's Expedition to Newdale, the solo mode. That is the first chapter. We haven't finished yet, actually. There's one more thing I need to do. I need to read the end, the epilogue. You receive a message from Rabbit, the Grande Dame of the North. You produce for the troops and the people must starve. Think about that. We need to talk. I'll visit you shortly. And so that is it. That is the sort of end of that card. And that is the game. That is Oh My Goods. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed playing it. If you have any questions, now is a good time to ask. I'll be just kind of faffing around for the next 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you what I think about the game. As you know, I've enjoyed this game. This is slightly different because obviously it is solo. But I do genuinely feel that it's a good version of the game to play solo, even when comparing it with playing with people. I've played Oh My Goods, which is very much the skeleton of this game is the Oh My Goods game, because the Oh My Goods game is essentially like this bit of the game, just these, and choosing when to produce. But you don't have like as many selections in here. In Oh My Goods, you have a card which essentially says produce effectively, which gives you 2 goods, or produce 1 good less effectively, but requires one less sort of like resource. And instead of assistance, which is the push your luck element of this game, this has the Oh My Goods has a resource ability which involves these cards. So essentially you've got a still very much deck of cards which looks a lot like these cards, but then you keep revealing cards during the first phase until you've revealed 2 that have like a sun on it. And that's kind of like this stage of the game. So that's basically saying these are the resources that you need in this in the first half, but then you're going to get another round of drawing cards until you've revealed 2 with suns. So you are going to get more stuff, and sometimes you can get quite a lot because some of the cards don't have suns on them. So sometimes you can reveal like 5, 6, 7 cards until you've actually revealed the second sun one. So instead of having these, you have this kind of range of resources as well. So the cards are like dual purpose for that, and I actually think that's a really nice way to do it. So Oh My Goods is, if you like that game, you'll be very good ground with this. It'll be very familiar to you. Still has the push your luck element, but I like this. I like this ability. I like push your luck in games. I like a game where you kind of have a chance to kind of go, well, I could do really well if I kind of, if I get lucky. But then obviously that the downside to that is that you might not get lucky and you might actually end up impeding yourself. Now, the good thing about that is I've just played this game, and if you saw the first round, I had quite an abysmal first round. And it is possible to recover, which I did. I managed to win the game quite healthily. Probably partially that because it's quite an easy one, being the first one, but it is possible. And so I do like that element. Fathoms asks, what's the ideal number of players for this game? Well, I've played it 2 and 3. Or did I play it 4 as well? I might have played once with 4. It does take slightly longer with 4 players, because especially if you've got somebody who has a kind of a problem with analysis paralysis, we call it, so overthinking what they have to do and like taking a long time. And I have played it with a 3-player game with that, and it really drags it down. So this is not the game to play with people who have AP, because there's a lot of things to think about. The only sort of differences with the game when you're playing with multiple players is fighting for these tokens. So you'll see on the board they have a number of tokens. Now there are 7 tokens per player, so there are more tokens, but I've often found that tokens like this and tokens like this are much more sought after. So that steers your your decisions early game about where to build. And because it often is a race to get those tokens, sometimes you'll race ahead into sort of the wilderness, but sometimes you will slow it down just to be able to get your hands on a token. And if you decide, actually, I'll play it differently, I'll just race out here, because where you see these victory points symbols on the top of places, only the first player to build in that location will get those points. So you can actually choose to sacrifice getting tokens to get more points. And as you see, early game, actually quite decently up until you get 20 points, which didn't happen to me until the end game scoring. That's where you get cards, and cards are so valuable in this game. So there's a lot to like. I like this aspect. I will show you, by the way. I think actually I can just show you on the other side of this board, because the boards are different. As you can see here, this board looks completely different. It involves boats, involves water. There are some actually bits of the game which we didn't actually get to. So you can see that's a token we didn't actually use in the game, but it does come up, which is quite cool. And I think there is some extra bits that I haven't actually got to yet. So it's actually really good, the fact that every time you play through the campaign, it's unlocking new things. And there's actually sets of cards which I haven't even looked at yet. The other thing about this board, by the way, is these are new action spaces. So this kind of allows you to, additionally to these actions that everybody can use, hence the multiple colors on them, these ones are also available if you've built in the appropriate town. So if you get to Borrington, this unlocks a new action for you. So it's really cool. It's really nice the way it varies up the game as you play. And there are other like land-based maps. I think the game comes with 3 boards which are double-sided, so 6 maps in total. It's just really good. Like, I really like it. I think that is enough decision making. It's satisfying to play. The fact that you are essentially, there are lots of cards and more cards get added. I'll just show you an example of some cards that get added later on. This one then kind of rewards you for having more strength than the other players, because the other players lose victory points, which is why you can go back and then forwards down the track, which I mentioned that specific case earlier on. And the production chains are quite tight as well. There's actually on the back of the rulebook, there's a description, sort of a visual diagram of all the production chains. So sometimes we didn't even see things like fish there. We didn't get to see them, but you can combine fish with like a barrel to sell fish by the barrel. And then there's like skins and swords, weapons. So there's all these different things that come up, and then that kind of grid tells you all the different cards that come up, different kinds of events. So just like the game that kind of expands, but don't have the same sort of commitment as a legacy game. I played the first game of this with friends of mine. I think actually I did go through the second map with them, and they didn't have a hard time. So you can even just jump in with different players. It's not going to impede them because the game doesn't change so much. It's like I said, once you've grasped the sort of elements of the game, it's quite nice then to then like be able to use all these elements. It doesn't seem overly like complicated. The iconography there is a little bit fiddly, like knowing that means to spend stuff. But once you've got that, like everything is very clear. And I like the different events. I think it's quite nice. Like sometimes you draw more assistants, sometimes you draw less, but you've got more available, and you can kind of plot and see what it is that you're getting. And even this is kind of nice, like having knowledge that only 3 blues exist. So when you go for a strategy which is like, I need to get 2 blue figures to be able to produce this, that's kind of a risky strategy, and I like that. Like sometimes it'll pay off. So yeah, I think overall, very good game. I can see why it's very good. If you like Alexander Pfister, has contained a lot of elements of his that will be familiar to you, particularly the push your luck and sort of engine building bits. But yeah, very good, very recommended. So that's it for me. I am going to sign off now. But thank you so much. If you haven't followed, you're watching this and you haven't followed it, and you want more board game content, please click on the follow button, because that's the way to be notified whenever I go live. And I should let you know that also on Friday, I'll be interviewing Board Game Minimalist, aka Kareem. So if you follow him on Twitter, good chance to have a chat with him, find out all about how he keeps that collection of his down to a minimum, maybe give you some tips in case you are a hoarder, a board game hoarder. Thank you so much for that. That's very kind. Thank you, Fathoms. Appreciate you tuning in. And so that's it from me. I'm going to sign off now, but thanks again for watching, and please tune in on Friday, and maybe I'll throw a bonus board game stream in on the weekend as well, because I love doing them. So yeah, cool. Have a good day, guys. Take care and see you soon. Bye.